Alrighty, so there is an extra piece of paper over there with the questions if you would like to look over those. Oh, yes.
This is like the second public speaking sort of thing I've ever done in my life.
Wow, really?
Whenever there was presentations at school, I was sick that day.
I
And
love
I managed to
it.
get through my whole life until now.
Yeah, it comes up to the really need moments that you
Yeah.
need these.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'll just start off quickly. So, hello Jennifer, my name is Raewyn. I'll be your interviewer today. So I'm going to start off a question with just tell me about yourself and why you're here.
Okay. Well, my name's Jennifer Manning, and a little bit about myself is obviously I'm not from these parts. I am from a small town in Canada. I have an older brother, and we were raised by a single father. My mom left when I was 4. And we had a typical life. I was a high achiever in sport and school. But family situation turned around a bit, and when I was 16, I was living on the streets in Toronto. So that's a little bit about me at the beginning of my life. So yeah, and I moved here in 2003 with my husband, and we moved to Whakatane after about 6 months of driving around the country. We kept coming back here. So we moved to Whakatane in 2005. Yeah. So we've been here 15 years. Yeah. My husband's the principal of Allendale School. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah. And we've got a 13-year-old.
Oh, that's cool. Does he go to Pakistan Intermediate?
No, he's at high school. Yeah. Oh, there's probably a lot, but you don't have enough time.
Alrighty, so I'm just gonna
Okay.
yeah, sorry, just gonna go back and forth. So, what are you very passionate about?
I know it's going to sound basic, but helping people. I think all my life I've just always wanted to help other people, whether it was my friends and helping them through things, and even now, since moving here, I've just been doing community stuff for the past 15 years just because I want to contribute and use my skills and make the world a better place if I can while I'm here.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Alright, so, yeah, sorry. What is your fondest memory?
That's a hard one. I think when you get older, you can't really think of a lot of the fond memories. It's like what the good ones and the bad ones. I do think one of the things that I remember growing up was my friends. You know, just hanging out with our friends, and it didn't matter what was going on at home or school. It was just those friendships that you got when you were younger. That was a big deal for me. And I find now that I'm older and living in a different country, it's a lot harder. So yeah, so I would say the friendships was my fond memories from when I was younger. Yeah.
Alrighty. So another question. Who is someone you admire or look up to?
I was trying to think of, were there celebrities or whatever, but it was actually, when I started transitioning off the street, I started living with my uncle and his partner. And those two, I think, were like role models for me because they were both gay, and we're in a big city, and they just took me in and treated me like the daughter they never had. And I watched them go through, like, my uncle was, he was an executive at an airline, and I saw him fight a lot of things with employment issues because he was gay. And then his partner he was like the youngest head of emergency medicine at one of the hospitals. And so those were my models. It's like, okay, so I can have a different life, but there's your focus. So they were always about achieving but still having a good time, and teaching me that, you can still be responsible but have a really you can still party, but be responsible. Remember, I was young then.
That is cool. Alrighty, so tell me about your youth, how you're growing up.
Well, you got a little taste of that already. Actually, because of the family situation with drugs and alcohol, and it was a whole family meltdown. I was in the big city for about 2 years, just struggling, and I actually got into a youth employability program because I was a youth at risk, and they said the whole thing was, okay, well, what do you want to do when you grow up, and we'll try to get you a place there, and they would pay for your salary for a year. Yeah. So I wanted to get into advertising, so they set up this gig sort of thing where I would be at an advertising firm and I'd be a runner. Basically somebody who does everything. So for all the staff, they'd go around, they'd get the coffee, they'd do this, they'd do all that sort of thing. So there's a lot of running around. So the night before I started, I had a party and fell down some stairs and broke my foot. Yeah. So they had to reassign me really quickly. So they stuck me on a reception desk at a law firm, and that was the beginning of my law career. So I started reception, and then I got into direct. I ended up directing a student program at law firms, and so I kind of worked my way up and then changed careers again, and. So I had an interesting youth. Yeah.
Alrighty, so if you grew up in different circumstances, do you think that would have altered your childhood and the way you grew up, or the way you are now?
So you're saying, if all had gone according to plan? Yeah, it would have. It definitely would have, but. I don't think I'd change anything. That's who I am because of all those circumstances. And in the end, I actually did start doing advertising. So I kind of did some of it. So I wouldn't change anything. But it definitely didn't turn out the way I thought it was going to.
That's cool. I love it. Alright, so I have a really big question for you. Yeah. So, what were your goals and aspirations when you were younger, and how did you achieve them? I think you kind of told us.
Yeah. Well, originally the whole idea was because I was a high achiever and everything. I was going to be an Olympian. I was pretty good at figure skating. And I was great at math, so I was going to be an Olympian for a few years, and then I was going to go to design school and either be an architect or in advertising. I wasn't sure. So that's what I had planned to do. Yeah.
Alrighty, so I'll just take that. So who are the youth of Kopeopeo?
You? Really, it's what? There's 3 primary schools here. There's 2 high schools, and you're all in the same area. So you're Kopeopeo. Yeah, that's. Yeah. Exactly.
Alrighty, so another question. What do you think it's like to be a young person in Kopeopeo?
Oh, it feels like it's probably boring. There isn't much connection happening, and this is a really cool area. It could be really cool. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't. I would struggle if I was your age and trying to hang out here. It's what do you do? There's nothing to do except get in trouble.
Alrighty, so what was I gonna say? Oh yes, do you recognize the different stereotypes here?
What do you mean?
So before, so we had different stereotypes based on people or based on the variety of shops that we have here, based on the Strand as well. So do you kind of see the difference between them?
Oh, so the kind of shops that are here versus the kind of shops that are...
Yeah, and kind of the people as well, kind of, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just because of the people who live here. Whoever lives here is designing what should be here. But I don't think there's enough support. Like on the Strand, there's the chamber and all those. But what's here? Like I don't see any support happening here as far as retail and that sort of thing. So yes, so you're not getting those really cool shops and stuff like that. So yeah, that's where I can see there is a difference. But yeah, but I actually think there should be a difference. I mean, I think this spot could be a lot. It could be more vibrant and younger because there's more of you guys here.
Alrighty, so I kind of think you've already kind of answered it, but do you think the council could improve the situation of Kopeopeo?
Short answer, yes. I do think that I have to wonder is, do they know what's going on here enough? You know, I'm not in council, so I don't know what they are doing, but I do wonder if they could be supporting the businesses, the young people, the residents here. Sorry. That's okay. Bless you. Yeah, like I think they could be doing more because I've seen places where there's areas that are considered, you know, not economically working well, but they get these regeneration kind of things. Because I lived in one of those areas where it was considered a rough area, but then the city started putting money towards it, and it became like an artsy place, and everybody started going there because it was cool and it didn't look like anything else. So that'd be cool if that was here.
Alrighty, that's awesome. So, what do you think people say about Kopeopeo, and what do you say about Kopeopeo as well?
I think there's kind of people think that maybe some people think that it's all older people here. Then other people think that, well, it's all just kids walking around the street doing nothing. And they might think it's dirty or, you know, it's not. But I don't think that's how it is at all. Yeah. So, yeah. Did I answer that?
Yes. Okay.
Do you want to clean it?
Yes, I so need a tissue. Sorry. I'm getting hay fever right now and it's not working out. This is like the worst time to get it.
Yeah, I'm like a nana. I've got lollies in Kleenex.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. Oh. Okay, back to the joke. This is so not going to get cut out either. What was it again? Oh yes. Have you ever been here around nighttime? And if you have, do you feel kind of threatened at the same time? Like, do you feel like that you have to have someone around you to be able to walk the streets at night?
I haven't been here at night very often, but I can see where because it's not lively here. So yeah, I can see that if even as, you know, a woman, I would feel unsafe probably. But then because of my street background, but yeah, no, I can understand that people would feel like it's unsafe here. But I think it's just because there's nothing going on that keeps people here to do anything. So yeah.
Alright, so third to last question.
Okay.
What do you think the young people of our rohe or area want our decision makers to know about them?
I think you guys have a lot of ideas and you just want to get them heard. Because I know there was, maybe 5 years ago, Christine Larson did a whole thing here, and I remember writing them down, and we put the data together, and then Kimua did some data. So there's a lot of ideas here that you guys kind of want to happen, and I just think you do it, and I honestly believe that you guys would do it if you had the support. So it's not necessarily want council to do it, or you just want something done and you will be there. That's in my head from what I've heard, is that you just want to be heard and do some stuff. So, yeah.
pretty much basics of it. All right, so what do you think our young people feel should be important to our decision makers?
That's a loaded question. um, I think they should be. It's about the future. Like, I think decision makers, and that's not just here, it's everywhere, is just thinking long term, the future of where you live, the world, all that sort of thing. Like, we need to be thinking about that stuff because we're only here once. So yeah, I would think that that's what you guys would probably be thinking, because we want to figure out a way to keep you here. You know, so that's what I'm hoping.
All right, so last question. Do you think it's important for everyone to vote?
Yes, and I can tell you from experience that every vote counts. I was elected on the community board last elections, and the first count I lost, and the second count I won. So every vote does count, and I think there's no reason why anybody shouldn't vote. And really, we're a small community. We could actually affect change. You know, it's not like it's not a big, huge city or anything. It's like we could actually make an impact voting. So yeah, definitely.
Alrighty. So that comes to the end of our interview. Did you want to add anything else?
No.
No? Okay. Okay, so thank you very much. That was cool. I liked it. There came